Well, ladies and gentlemen, so welcome to our weekly video of planets through ascendants. I know last week I just had to make those two videos away from our series, and I'm okay with that. And you're gonna have to live with that. So yes, but hey, still, week is not over for me, so I'm still making my video of planets through ascendant, and today we're gonna be covering Sun in the second house for Leo ascendant person. And what happens when Sun is in the second house for a Leo ascendant person? This is different from planets through signs and planets through houses series that I've done. Because now, Sun is in a certain house and it rules a certain house and it's in a certain ascendant. So it makes a whole lot of difference because we're combining two energies together. But as always, if you do not know where your Sun is placed, all the other planet replacements, and if it's in the second house, for that, check out the links here. Check out my full astrological report, including my books, Astrology, Conjunction, and Aspects of the Speed of Light, including all my consultations here. So, let's get started with our planets through ascendant of Sun in the second house. So, for a Leo ascendant person, Sun rules the second house. Oh, I'm sorry. Man, this is like 11:30 at night, so you guys are going to have to forgive me. For a Leo ascendant person, Sun rules the first house. Because Sun is the Lord of Leo. Please do not listen to what I just said 10 seconds ago. It's bad for your health. So yeah, for a Leo ascendant person, Sun rules the first house, which is yourself, your vitality, your health, your physical development, who you are as a person. And so Sun ruling this house with the sign of Leo, which is a very dynamic sign of creative self-expression, sign of wanting to be noticed, wanting to be out there on the throne. But now Sun goes into the second house. What is the second house? Second house represents family, wealth, earnings, savings, lineage, food, speech, culture, fame. A lot of things are seen through second house. But it's pretty much the second house, if you want to know, is how you feed yourself. Because first house is you, right? Now, how do you sustain yourself? You're going to have to sustain yourself by taking the second house food and eating. Okay? So now, your ascendant lord has gone in there, which means ascendant, which is known as the Lagna, the rising sign, is you, your life. So now your life is in the second house, which means your life focus shifts into the second house. So shows that your entire lifetime goes into dealing with affairs of the family, wealth, assets, hoarding, food, dealing with paternal lineage. So the whole focus is here. Whole focus is how to attain money to feed yourself, how to attain money to feed your family, how to develop your ego through money. And this is why Sun gave Mercury to rule the second house. Why? Because remember, Leo, the Sun, the king, is the kingdom. He's the king. This is the body is his kingdom. But now king wants to sustain itself. And who is the best to sustain the kingdom is a great accountant, money manager, a business person who looks at things logically, not through illusions or imagination or just through chatting. No, somebody who can do the calculations and make sure the kingdom runs on a good budget. They don't go into debt. They have a surplus. So this is why Leo's Sun itself said, I need somebody who can really manage my wealth so my kingdom runs. So he's like, who better to rule this than Mercury itself? Mercury, who's a significator of wealth management, accounting, business, sales, because you got to go out there and sell things to get your economy going. This is why economics is also seen from Mercury. So Mercury now rules the second house. with the sign of Virgo, not Gemini. Gemini is a sign that doesn't really care for finances or money. Gemini wants to just exchange information, talk about gossip, have fun with cousins and siblings. Wants to do all sorts of informative, playing games. But the higher side of Mercury is Virgo. So this is why Sun said, no, I'm going to take Mercury because it rules the sign of Virgo. So what does it tell us then about this person? And Virgo, as you know, is a sign of doing the work. Being like this workaholic person, looking at all the details, looking at the contracts, solving all the disputes, looking at things very logically, analytically. So what this shows us that this person will always engage into budgeting things in their home, for their family, making sure money is at the right place where it's supposed to be. All the bills are paying the certain way that they're supposed to be. This person becomes very systematic. This person becomes a great money manager, a great banker, a great investment banker. And their personality shines by expressing their administrative skills, their management skills, their money management skills. But at the same time, you have to understand Virgo is also the energy of the 6th house, which represents illnesses, diseases, social welfare, social reform, non-profit organizations, small animals. So shows that one, by attaining and feeding themselves through the 2nd house things, their resources will also be distributed to the 6th house matter as well. Meaning these people will be quite charitable. They will be very calculative that, okay, if I gave $2,000 to this organization, I can write that off as my taxes. So they look at everything logically, but they do put their energy towards the 6th house things. You will also see these people, if especially Sun goes into the nakshatra of Hasta, that they go towards fields of healthcare administration. They even take part in, NGO or like the UN type affairs. But mainly you will see them always somehow involved with family, taking care of the assets of the family and management. Pretty much if we see this person, we see them as a manager of assets. They need to manage, they want to manage, so they can always feed themselves and the things that they love, things that that helps them express themselves dynamically. But also what happens is with this person is that due to the fact that they get so caught up into managing things, dealing with details of things, they also become very critical of their family. They always criticize somebody in their family because the fact this person might have been criticized by their own father. You're not doing this perfectly. You need to do it this way. You should put this here. You should put this there. So then they catch on to that because it's the lineage, the 2nd house. So they take that lineage and they do that with their own life and their own family that they create. They're like, oh no, you're not supposed to be doing this. You're supposed to be doing that. You shouldn't be studying this. You should be studying that. This will help you in the real world. This will not help you in the real world. So instead of, let's say your child wants to learn something artistic, creative, and you have no idea about astrology, you'll be like, no, forget this. You're going to go towards accounting. You're going to become a money manager so you can have a life and you can actually pay your bills and feed yourself. This is what the real world is about. You become very critical because you're always in that fear that if life is not managed well, if you don't go by the system, then system will come against you. So what happens is the person may lose a bit of their creativity to the practical side of life. But you gotta remember this too, like depending upon obviously other planetary placements, but the planets that will impact impact Sun in this case, they're conjunct Sun, aspect Sun. The nakshatra that Sun is in will define either if the person will go into banking, accounting, healthcare, law, government. But usually I have seen that these people take a more logical, practical path than somebody who's like packing their bags and moving to Hollywood to become an actor. That will probably happen if Sun was in the 3rd house or the ascendant or the 10th house. Here, they're more about always hoarding resources, always gaining resources. Okay? And this also shows that your father must have been a banker or accountant himself, and somebody who also followed into his own father's footsteps. So guys, this was my analysis of Sun in the 2nd house for Leo ascendant person. If you're new to my channel, subscribe below. And again, if you want to know where your Sun is placed, all your other planetary placements, including my reports, books, and consultations, for that, check out the links here. Otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.